took off. Didn't do anything.
Until she did.
She popularized that at a time when women in general weren't getting a lot of respect. Black women were getting even less. That was an amazing time for a powerful woman to take that song, make it her own, and now we've made it all our own. Okay, now we have to play it all over. Somebody tell Tanya later what she missed.
Only if you show us respect will we tell you.
Aretha was here.
Yeah.
2 numbers. She might come back later. Well, I just want you to know, all those songs are about love and respect, and that's how I feel when I'm here. So the focus for the month is the form of spiritual mind treatment. Today we're going to talk about a slightly different form of spiritual mind treatment. In fact, it was a form that I was strongly discouraged from using as a student. We'll see. There are many great challenges and opportunities in our teaching. We know that our thoughts and belief create our experience, whether we know it or not. And the better we get at it, the more we can control it. So if in our minds, in the spiritual mind treatment, we argue that the step we call realization, that we claim in our treatments, if we have doubts, false beliefs, they're going to prevail. That's not our intention, but it's what's in our mind. And the law manifests it quickly, instantly. And it's because that is where our attention is most active. Now, some of you may or may not be familiar with the argumentative form of prayer, in which you have statements of denials preceding the affirmations. And for some, they really help release from our consciousness those blocks. It empowers us. It empowers the prayer and the one who speaks it. In The Science of Mind, Dr. Holmes told us, all argumentative statements merely conduct the mind of the practitioner to a place where he believes what he is saying. Where he believes what he is saying. That will be a theme throughout the talk today. But regardless of the form of the treatment you use, Dr. Holmes tells us, now this is in this thing called You, which is my favorite. It is not the form of the treatment which you give, or the prayer which you make, that gives it power. Rather, it is your faith. And that's from Dr. Holmes. So the topic for today is affirmations and denials in treatment. Submitted by a friend of mine, Reverend Tara Steele, staff minister at Santa Rosa. She was one of my teachers just a few months ago. So some of us who are less experienced in this teaching may wonder, what are the limits on the treatment? Are there limits? And if so, what are they? Great question. Thanks for wondering that. How much can one demonstrate? According to Dr. Holmes, we can demonstrate just what one can believe. How much can we see? How much can we accept? How much can we find in consciousness that is no longer repudiated by our own denials? Whatever that is, that much we can have. I know we all go around repudiating things all day. Well, there's things that need to be repudiated. The practitioner knows only the activity of mind as thought. The practitioner knows the activity of his, her thought destroys the activity of negative thought, and that what is left is perfect. Hence, the sooner we recognize that what is left is perfect, the sooner the denial actually becomes an affirmation. Affirmation always follows denial in order that realization may be built up. And then when he says realization, that's the step realization that we talked about in Science of Mind treatment. This realization is a realization of the presence and the perfection of God. And that's in living the Science of Mind. The proper kind of a denial is based upon the recognition that in reality, there is no limitation. For mind can as easily make a planet as an acorn. Think about that one. That's the Science of Mind, Dr. Holmes. So, as practitioners, and each and every person in this room is a practitioner, we must say only what we believe and believe what we say. If one's blood pressure is high and we're doing a treatment for it, we cannot claim we made a demonstration until the blood pressure has been reduced to normal. If it's not perfectly normal, we didn't do the demonstration. And it would be an affront to our intelligence to say, yeah, we did that, even if it went down. It's not a demonstration until the blood pressure is whole and perfect. So in our treatments, it's so important that we state only what we can believe. And I'll give you an example. Someone in the room here today taught that if you are experiencing legal blindness, your treatment isn't for whole perfect vision, because your mind isn't going to believe it. But your mind will believe my vision is improving every day, right? And every day your vision will improve because you believe it. That's what you are. That's how powerful you are. If you can't convince your own mind, don't waste your time. If you can't believe what you say, don't say it. That's how your statement, your treatment should be stated. Filled with energy while maintaining your own integrity. In those times, you have to utilize what you can believe, even if it's only a step along the way to the ultimate destination. Are we willing to consider that something as an interim step might be possible in any treatment? Well, it's easier to accept, isn't it? It's less in the outcome, but it's a positive step. And once we see that step take form, we take the next step. You know the old expression, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. Take the step. As spiritual beings in human form, we recognize that underneath everything is God, whole, perfect, and complete. Yet sometimes our human experience may not feel perfect. The invitation is to seize the inner struggle, to find that bit of light that affirms the full radiance of spirit within us. So spirit shines forth. Not Stevie shines forth. Spirit shines forth. There's an old ancient Chinese proverb. It's better to light a single candle than to curse the darkness. The only limits are from our beliefs. Now, last week I mentioned Emma Curtis Hopkins, was known as the teacher of teachers. And as she reminds us, in Scientific Christian Mental Practice 32.1, anybody have it with them? Between you and your good, which belongs to you, and which you ought to have, is your idea of the absence of good. What does that statement mean to you? We know Emma was brilliant. She was the teacher of teachers. But language was a little different then. Would you admit you already have much good and abundance in your life? Anybody admit that? Thank you. That's a great starting point. If anybody won't admit that, please meet with a practitioner after the talk. We can help you out. So would you also admit that you would gladly welcome more good and abundance in your life? Yeah, that's also a great starting point. And what Emma said is, what is between you and your good is your idea of the absence of good. It's not just a vacuum, it's your idea of an absence of good. So we know that when Emma is talking about our belief in the absence of good, it's actually the absence of God in our belief system. Everywhere we see or believe in the absence of good, we're manifesting the absence of God's Spirit in our lives. Whether it's our careers, our jobs, relationships, whatever. It's a starting point for recognizing God's already there. We're picturing an absence of God. If you can actually consciously accept the omnipresence of Spirit, then you must agree Spirit's already there. Perfectly clear, unassailable logic. Not so much. Let's see if I can make this logic a little clearer. I need a volunteer from the audience. Susan, would you help?
I'd be happy to.
This is pretty random. Yeah, you think?
Hi, Larry.
Hi, Gary. Can you tell me something I have been wondering about?
Sure, I'll try.
Where is God?
Everywhere.
Here?
Yes, everywhere.
Even there?
Yes, everywhere.
You said everywhere. Did you mean everywhere?
Yes, every here, every there, and everywhere.
When is God everywhere?
Now.
When?
Now.
Now when?
Right.
No, you don't understand. When is God?
Right. God is now.
Every now?
Yes, every right now.
Okay, now, who is God?
I am that I am. Who did you think?
You are?
Right, you are.
No, you said you are.
Yes, you are.
First you said that you are, then you said I am.
Right. I am that I am, and so are you. Thank you.
Very invariable, Abbott and Costello. Who's on first?
So if you don't know or don't recall the Abbott and Costello routine, who's on first? That was the inspiration. So thank you for allowing us to put a little spiritual twist on that. So to clarify, we're talking about our beliefs in lack and limitation. When they occur is where we believe in the absence of Spirit. And there's no absence of Spirit. We know the universe abhors a vacuum because there's no such thing. There's always spirit. Well, we might agree that as portrayed in our hilarious comedy routine, there's nowhere that spirit is not. There's no time when spirit is not. And in everywhere and every time, who is spirit?
I am.
Thank you.
Plants are.
Another plant.
No, not really. So, yeah, we can consciously grasp this concept, but can we live it? Can we affirmatively say and believe that spirit is whole, perfect, and infinite? Can you? If that's true, where do our beliefs in lack and limitation come from? The most limiting beliefs we have are those which lie in our subconscious. Sometimes those ideas are so firmly embedded in our subconscious, it takes hard work to dislodge them. I started the talk today talking about the argumentative form of treatment. When we use the argumentative form of treatment, we bring these limiting ideas that are buried in our subconscious into the light. And they don't stand up so well in the light because they're not real. It's a multi-step process. First, you have to address the limiting belief with denials of its reality. When you bring it into the light, it's much easier to deny that it exists. But until you can recognize them for what they are, illusions, delusions, whatever you want to call them, then you have to replace them with affirmations of the truth. When you do that, the limiting power of the false belief fades away. It dissolves into the nothingness that it is. Some of you were here for the tapping workshop we had months ago. It's the same type of an exercise. First, you eliminate the negative thought, then immediately replace it with the positive. And at first, incremental steps. It might be necessary to just deny a small part of our human experience. For example, something like, although in this moment it seems I am less healthy than I would like to be, I know that more vitality is on its way to me now. Everybody can say that, no matter where they're starting in their human experience. In this moment, I am less healthy than I would like to be. I know more vitality is on its way now. Sometimes we have to recognize the challenge and deny its power as soon as you recognize it. Many of us are trained already to recognize a negative thought and go, cancel, cancel, cancel. Right? I've heard many of you do that. So you already know how to do this. As faith and trust that greater health is coming is affirmed and expected, that creates a chink in the armor of disbelief. And it opens up space for spirit to make it so. We probably didn't build up this wall of disbelief overnight. It took years of experiences we didn't understand that crept into our subconscious to create this disbelief, this lack of faith in our wholeness, in our divinity. So we really have to pay attention to where we are and what actually is in our life. begin where we are, for it's the only place where we know we are present. Little shifts in attention and focus eventually bring us home to the truth of who we are. In summary, everything we talked about is a practice. It's rarely perfected, but it can be. But it's always worth the effort. No matter how many incremental steps we take, it makes an improvement. And every improvement we make in our lives improves the universe. That's how important you are. Each and every one of us. We're part of that. It's an energetic soup. The more goodness we bring into the soup, the better the soup gets. So notice what you pay attention to. Notice when you believe what you say and when you don't believe what you say. We all have those experiences. Use the power of your focused thought to transform your life experiences. Notice where the light shines and look there. That's an opportunity. We all have daily opportunities, inspirations, where the light shines. Pay attention to it. It is as simple and challenging as that. Namaste.
Namaste.
So here's a brief affirmation. My good is unfolding in all aspects of my life. I know nothing else has power or reality. God is all that is, and so it is.
So it is.